Hello students, these are topic tests that have been designed to help you evaluate your preparation as it goes along. So once you've done the basic concepts of a topic, it is advised that you take these topic tests. There are 5 tests for each subtopic that there is in your quant preparation or your quant syllabus. Once you've taken a test, there is a video for each test. In this video, we try to give you a perspective of what could have been a good attempt, why or how you would choose the questions, what are difficult and easy questions, what is a good time to attempt these questions. If you like the test and the videos, there are more than 200 such topic tests that are available on our Bodhee Prep Android app. Just all you have to do is download the link, the description, download the app, the link for which is in the description below, and make use of these tests to help you upgrade your preparation or make your preparation exam ready, right? Now, this video is about the topic percentages, test number 5, as mentioned in the app. Overall, this was maybe a medium or a moderate level of difficulty test. Good attempts here would be 6 to 7 net correct answers. And ideal time would be 21 to 24. There were some questions where the calculation time was higher, and therefore the overall attempt time goes up to 24 minutes for all the 10 questions, out of which we'll try to get at least 6 to 7 correct answers. If you look at the questions, P% of the students in a class, this is the small p, large p, I think they're the same. In a class, passed the exam. G% of the past students are girls. So suppose there are 100% students. Out of these, P% passed, and therefore 100 minus P% failed. Out of G% of the past students are girls. So if we look this as the number, G% of this is girls. Therefore, what would be the pass percent for, or what percentage of the past students would be boys? Now, if 60% are girls, we know 100 minus 60 or 40% would be boys. And therefore, we can say 100 minus G% of the past students are boys. B% of the failed students are girls. So out of this, B% are boys. And again, as we did for the past students who passed, of the failed students, 100 minus B% would be girls. Because if we assume the failed students to be 100, if B are boys, 100 minus B would be girls. So we get the percentage of each of them. The percentage of passed boys over the failed girls. So number of boys who have passed is 100 minus G% of P% of 100. Assuming that 100 was the number of students who initially gave the test, P% of this passed, and 100 minus G% of P% were the boys. So 100 minus G% of P% becomes the boys from the past students, the number percentage of boys, and P% of 100 becomes the number of students who passed. The percentage of passed boys over the failed girls. Now, out of 100 students, 100 minus P% failed, and out of the failed students, 100 minus B% were girls. This is the number of failed students. 100 minus B% of this will be the number of girls. So the percentage of passed boys over failed girls, since we are finding a percentage, multiply by 100. If we simplify this, percent of can be cancelled out. So 100 minus G into P, percent cancel, percent off cancel. 100 minus G into P into 100 upon 100 minus B into 100 minus P into 100 becomes the expression. 100 cancels. So finally, the expression that we'll get is 100 minus G into P, 100 minus G into P into 100 upon 100 minus P into 100 minus B, which is the same as option B. Now, in terms of level of difficulty, I'd call it a moderate level of question because it is easy to get confused as to the base for which each percent is calculated, whether what is the base for this G% to can create a bit of confusion. Also, there is sometimes this attempt that we make where we try to assume values and solve. If we do that, suppose if we say take the value of P as 60, G as 70, B as 30, or B as 20. Again, the calculation might actually become a lot more cumbersome. And therefore, I'm saying moderate level of difficulty, 2.5 minutes to solve the question. If you're able to spot it quickly, then obviously 2 minutes, but moderate level of difficulty overall. In the Polo hospital, some patients were suffering from hepatitis B and admitted for treatment. 8% of the patients were dead within half an hour. So suppose 100x patients were admitted, 8% of this, that is 8x, were dead within half an hour. Therefore, 92x remain, 100x minus 8x. After treatment, the percentage of patient cured out of the remaining was only 75%. So 75% of this got cured, 75% of 92x, which is 3 by 4 of 92x. 3 by 4 will be 46, 40, 23, 92. So this is 69x. 69x got cured, which means the remaining 23x, 92x minus 23x, did not get cured. Out of the patients, out of these patients, out of the cured patients, only 2/3 were completely cured and the remaining were partially cured out. So out of this 2/3, 2/3 of 69, 23, 46x were completely cured and the remaining 23x were partially cured. Partially cured. Which were equal to 161. So this 23x partially cured is equal to 161. X is equal to 161 by 23 divided by 7. 7 to 21, so X is equal to 7. The number of patients who were admitted for the treatment for the same. So initially the number of patients admitted was 100x, X comes out to 7. The number of patients comes out to 700. So just calculating percentage at each level is what we need to do in this question. I'd say easy to medium level of difficulty, not more than 2 minutes to solve. Reading time of the question might be a little high, but what I tend to do is try to calculate the values at each step. So by the time you read, you're able to reach the answer as well. The total cost of setting up a sugarcane factory is 1 CR. Total cost of setting up the factory is 1 CR. Produces 5,000 ton of sugar per annum. Sugar is being sold at rupees 18 per kg. Selling price is rupees 18 per kg. Manufacturing costs, including raw material, is 3.2 per kg. Labor and packaging is 1.8 per kg. So raw material plus labor plus packaging is 3.2 plus 1.8, which is rupees 5 per kg. Maintenance and utilities are 2 rupees per kg. Maintenance plus utilities is 2 rupees per kg. Rupees per kg. And the general expenses are 3 rupees per kg. General expenses are rupees 3 per kg. 20% of the taxes are being paid on the gross annual earning, then the net profit of the production of the factory per annum is. Now, if we combine all the expenditures, the total expenditure per kg would be 538 plus 210, 2 rupees, 8 rupees per 10 rupees per kg, and therefore the earning or the net total profit in a way will be selling price minus expenditure, which is 18 minus 10 or 8 rupees per kg. The production is 5,000 tons and therefore total profit or gross profit in a way before taxes, gross profit would be production which is 5,000 tons into 8 kgs. So 5,000 into 1,000. 5,000 tons means 5,000. 1 ton. 1 ton is equal to 1,000 kgs, and the profit per kg is rupees 8. So this becomes 40, 8 5 are 40, 3 zeros, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 700, 1,000, 10 lakh, 10 lakh crore. So 4 CR is the gross profit. From this gross profit, 20% tax are being deducted. 20% of 4 will be 4 to 8, 0.8. And therefore, the net profit will come out to 4 minus 0.8, which is 3.2. How this 1 CR is to be used has not been mentioned in the question. This will not be the per year cost. This will be appropriated over a period of time. The yearly profit will be 3.2, out of which we'll start appropriating a part of 1 CR, which is not mentioned. Hence, option 3 becomes the answer. Again, I'd say this question would be medium to higher level of difficulty, because understanding all the numbers and how they are to be used could be a challenge. So maybe medium, but once you have figured it out, not more than 2.5 minutes to solve the question. In a company, there were originally N staff members. The management decided to recruit a certain percentage of new employees, so A%. So this N is increased by A%. After a month, another percent of employees decide to resign, say B%. So whatever number of employees were there, B% of that decided to resign. So the value will decrease by B%. As a result, total number of employees in the office remained the same as initially. What is the difference between the percentage of employees hired and the percentage of employees who left? So basically, we have to find out the value of A minus B, because A% employees were hired and B% employees left. So we have to find the value of A minus B. Also, it is given that after these net changes, the number of employees was the same as initially. So we can say that overall percentage change is 0. And because of A% increase, B% decrease, the change should be A minus B minus AB upon 100. Successive percentage change, which leads to a 0% overall change, since the number of people remain the same. So from here we can see A minus B is equal to AB upon 100, and that simply becomes the answer. Direct application of successive percentage change, but I'll say if you're not able to spot the fact, it is very easy to get lost in the data of the question and start assuming values for A and B. But you have to understand, all you have to do is put in the value, because A minus B is to be calculated, and that is part of the formula. So easy, maybe 90 seconds to solve the question, including the time to read the question. The pressure of a definite mass of gas, mass of gas. Pressure is directly proportional to temperature and inversely proportional to volume. So we can say P is proportional to T upon V. So to write the equation, we can say P is equal to K constant into T by V. Under the given conditions, if the temperature increased by 40% and the volume is decreased by 20%, then the new pressure will be. If suppose the original pressure is P, original temperature is T, original volume is V. We know that P is equal to K into TV. New pressure, which is P dash, will be K into temperature is increased by 40%. So T will become 1 plus 40 upon 100 into T, which is 1.4 T. Volume is decreased by 20%. So volume will become 1 minus 20 upon 100 into V, which will be 0.8 V. 100 minus 20, 80 upon 100. And therefore, new pressure will be 1.4 upon 0.8 into K into T upon V. This is the old pressure. So new pressure will be 1.4 upon 0.8 into old pressure. 14 upon 8 we try to solve. 14 upon 8 will be 7 by 2, 7 by 4, which will be 7 1s are 4, 1.75. So this becomes 1.75 P. If the initial pressure was 100, the new pressure will be 1.75 P, which is 175. So we can clearly say that there is an increase of 75%. Hence, because of the two changes, the pressure increased by 75. Again, just putting the values and getting the fraction to get the answer. Easy question, not more than 90 seconds to solve the question. A computer typist types a page with 20 lines in 10 minutes but leaves 9% margin. So actually there are 20 lines, but he's leaving 8% margin. So, and therefore the actual number of lines that he is filling is 8%. Reducing 100% by 8%, we get 92%. So basically in 10 minutes, the typist, 10 minutes, the typist is writing 92% of 20 lines. And therefore we can say in 1 minute, he will write 92% of 2 lines dividing by 10, the entire thing. Instead of 20, this becomes 2. Now he has to type 23 pages with 40 lines, 40 lines on each page, which leaves 25% more margin than before. So earlier he was leaving 8% margin. Now he has to leave 25% more margin than before. So what we do is we increase 8% by 25. 25% of 8 is 1 by 4th of 8, which is 2. Hence, instead of 8%, he will now be leaving 10% margin. This 25% is not the overall value of the line or the part of the line that is being left. It just says earlier 8% was being left. Now 25% more than this will be left. Hence 10% margin will be left. So the number of lines to be written is 23 pages having 40 lines each, and out of the entire line 10% is to be left. So for each line 90% is to be written. Hence, the number of lines is 90% of 40 for 23 pages. In 1 minute, this is the amount of lines that can be written. So time in minutes will be total number of lines to be written, 90% of 40, just write into 90% into 40 into 23. And number of lines written is 92% of 2 per minute. So divide by amount of work done per minute. Remove off, write into. Percent cancel. 23 4s are 92. 4 2s are 8, 8 5s are 40. And therefore 450 minutes are required. So in terms of hours, this time in hours will be 450 minutes by 60 minutes, which comes out to 7.5 hours. Or 1.5 hours. Option A becomes the answer. Moderate level of question. I think this 25 here was a bit of a catch. If not read properly, there could be a mistake. Otherwise, not too much in the question. But again, moderate level, solving time would be about 2.5 minutes. A company made a cuboidal box of size 16 into 2 into 5 to sell the ice cream, but later on it was found that the capacity of the box was 14.28% less than the required capacity of the box. While the height was correct, which is 5 inches, as per the requirement, the company had to increase the length and breadth of the box in equal amount when the percentage increase in the area of the base of the box is. Now, suppose the volume required was V. It is given that this volume is 14.28% less than V. 14.28 in fraction is 1 by 7. So we can say V into 1 minus 1 by 7 is equal to the volume that we have 16 into 2 into 5. So the required volume will be V into 6 by 7 is equal to 16 into 12 into 5. 6 2s are 12. So the required volume is 16 into 7 2s are 14 into 5. But the volume that we have is 16 into 12 into 5. Now we know that the height is okay. It should be 5 inches. Therefore, area of the base. The area of the base that we have is 16 into 12. The area of the base that we need is 16 into 14. And therefore, we can say the increase required is 16 into 14 should be the area. It is 16 into 12, which will give us 16 into 14 minus 12, which is 2. And therefore, percentage increase is 16 into 2 increase upon base, 16 into 12. This value has to reach here. So this is the starting value into 100. 16 cancel, 2 by 12 is 6. Therefore, 1 by 6 of 16%, which is 16.66% becomes the answer. Again, the question is easy, but the problem that can arise is, first of all, managing this 14.28%, and then this line here. Company decided to increase the length and breadth of the box in equal amount. This information is not to be used anywhere. We just need the percentage increase in the base. But if we start looking at this information and using using a variable, then the calculation will become very difficult. So I'm saying moderate solving time. Ideal solving time is 2 to 2.5 minutes. But if we take a different route, then the time might go out of hand. In the Sabarmati Express, there are as many wagons as there are number of seats in each wagon, and not more than one passenger can have the same berth. If the number of wagons is X, the number of seats per wagon is also X. So the total number of seats available in the Sabarmati Express are X into X, that is X square. If the middlemost compartment carrying 25 passengers is filled with 71.428 of its capacity, find the maximum number of passengers in the train that can be accommodated if it has a minimum 20% seats always vacant. Now, middlemost compartment has 25 seats occupied out of X. This is given as 25 by X into 100 is 71.428% occupancy. Now, we have to deal with 71.428. I'll try to multiply this by a number to get a easier sort of a value. For example, if you multiply the entire thing by 4, this becomes 100. 71.428 into 4 is 832 carry forward 3 for 1167 15285.712. Again, not very useful. If we multiply 71.428 by 7, again 1428 are the numbers that 7 uses. So if you remember this, nothing like it. The value, if you don't remember the value, 1428 is something that we know is 1 by 7. So we multiply by 7, this becomes 756, 6, carry forward 5, 14, 9, 1, 7, 4, 28, 1, 9, 9, 2, 7, 7, 9, 499.9. And therefore, what I'm saying is 500 upon 7 will approximately be equal to 714.28, because this is approximately, this into 7 is 500. If we remember the values, we should know that the fraction 5 by 7 is nothing but 0.71428. 5 into 0.1428, roughly speaking. So this becomes 25 by x into 100 is equal to 500 by 7. 100 cancel, 5 5s are 25, x comes out to 35. So the number of seats in the wagon is 35. Therefore, the number of wagons is 35 as well. Therefore, total number of seats is 35 into 35. 35 wagons, each having 35 seats. Also, 20% of the seats have to remain vacant. So, maximum number of passengers, max passengers will be 80%, since 20% has to remain empty. So, 80% of 35 into 35. 80% means 4 by 5 of 35 into 35. 7 5s are 35. 35 into 4, 12, 14, 140 into 7, 980. So total number of seats that or passengers that can be there in Sabarmati Express is 980. It's a moderate level of difficulty question. Easy if we remember the value 71.428, or if we remember 1428, then the calculation becomes a lot easier. But otherwise, I think overall moderate, maybe 2.5 odd minutes to solve the question. In a half-yearly examination, only 70% of the students passed. Out of these passed in half-yearly, only 60% students passed in the annual exam. So if there are 100 students, 70% passed in half-yearly, and therefore 30 failed. We are starting with 100, so the first number will as it is be a number, not a percentage. Out of these, only 60%. 60% of 70 is equal to 642. They passed in the annual exam as well. Annual exam pass, and therefore this is pass, this is fail. 70 minus 42 is 28. Out of those who did not pass in the half yearly, so we're talking about these 30 people, 80% passed in the annual examination. So 80% of 30, which is 24, passed in the annual examination, and therefore 30 minus 24, 6 failed in the annual examination. What percent of the student passed the annual exam? These 48 and these 24 people passed the annual examination. So a total of 66 out of 100 pass the annual examinations. Hence, the required percentage is 66%. Easy question, not more than maybe a minute and a half to 2 minutes to solve the question. Basic numbers, very simple calculations. Just the reading of the question is important. A shopkeeper initially increased the price of jewelry by a certain percentage, then he reduces the new price by the same percentage. Suppose the initial price was P, he increases it by X% and then decreases it by X%. The overall change in this one cycle will be X minus X into X upon 100 successive percentage change, which is nothing but minus X square by 100%. Whenever we have to use this value in an equation, because of this percent, we'll get another 100 in the base. After one such increase and subsequent decrease, the price of the jewelry decreased by 21025. So P after one cycle becomes P minus 21025. Following another cycle, so again net change of minus X square by 100%. The jewelry is sold at 484416. What was the original price of the jewelry? Now, the two equations that we'll get is from the first one, you can write minus X square by 100% of P. This will be the decrease in the first case, which is given as 21025. Secondly, this new value P minus 21025 reduced by 1 minus X square upon 100 square. X square upon 100%, so X square upon 100 into 100. This will give us 484416. Now, it should be understood here that from the second value to the third value, the difference will again be close to 21025, less than that, but minus X square by 100% of P was 21025. So minus X square upon 100% of P minus 21025 will also be close to that value. So I can actually say that my answer or the value for P should be somewhere less, a little less than 484416 plus 21025 plus 21025. If we add this, we will get 50, 66, 4, 6, and 5 to 6, 4, 5, 5 to 6, 4, 5, 6. 5 to 6, 5 to 5. So this is more than 5 to 6. This is very, very less than 5 to 6. So one of these two should be my likely answers. Now we can solve X square and P to get the answer. What I am doing is I am trying to factorize. So I write this as X square upon 100 square into P is equal to 21025. Now if we factorize 21025, we will get 5. 5 4s are 20, 10. 5 4s are 20, was the 4 are 10. 4205 by 5 again is 844, 841. 841 cannot be cannot be factorized further. So if we look at this, we can say X square is equal to 100 square. 100 square will be 5. 100 is 5 square into 2 square. So 5 raised to power 4 into 2 raised to power 4. 100 square is 10 raised to power 4. So 5 raised to power 4 into 2 raised to power 4 into 2100, which is 5 square into 841. Now clearly this is P into X square. 841 will have no part of X square since my options are in integers. I'm saying all values have to be integers. 841 is not a square, so it cannot be a part of X square. So 841 has to be a part of P. So if we keep multiplying numbers from here, we should get close to P, which should be one of the options. So 841 into 25 is 21025. If I multiply this by 5 further, because my options are 0 and 5, so once I'll keep multiplying by 5, that does not work, I'll start multiplying by 2. This becomes 125, 105. If you multiply this by 5 further, we'll get 5, 25625, which is one of the options. So what we can do is, we can take these two 5s and 2 5s from here, multiply to 841. We'll get 5 square into 2 raised to power 4 into 525625. This will be 16 into 5 80 into 400. 416 into 8. So 400 into 525, 625. So this becomes the value of p, x square p. This becomes x square. The value of x becomes root of 400, which is 20, and p becomes 525, 625, 625. Now we check the values to get the answer in the second case. So if we put p as 525, 625, and from that subtract 21025, in the second equation we'll have 5, 4, 5, 5, 2, 6. Make no mistake. P comes out to 5, 2, 5, 6, 2, 5. This is the value of P. We subtract 21025 from here. We get 504, 600. So that is the value here. Again, erasing this part for a bit, we get 504,600 into 1 minus x square will be 400 upon 100 squared. So this will give us 400 upon 100 squared will be 400 divided by 100 is 4. 4 divided by 100 will be 0.04 minus 1 would be 0.96. So if we calculate this, we'll get 504600 into 0.96, which is nothing but 5046 into 96. We can multiply, we can do 100 minus 4. I'm multiplying only. 504600 into 6 will give us 6 6 36. 6 carry forward 6 24 7 2 6 5 30 into 9 will give us 9 6 54, 4 carry forward 5, 9 4 36, 541, 1 carry forward 4 here, 9 5 45. If we add, we get 6 1 4 4 4 8, which is the value. So these two values that we were able to find were correct. Hence the starting price is 525, 625. This question I'll call a difficult question unless you've done this. It may not be that easy. Also, even if we are calculating, unless we are able to hit the right numbers in the first go, the answer does not come out. So, for me, a difficult question, solving time will easily be more than 3 minutes. So, if you look at the overall level of the paper or the test, as we said earlier, the overall level of difficulty in medium, 6 to 7 questions, net correct would happen. And the ideal time would be about 20 towards 24 minutes because there was calculation involved in some questions. The questions that I would have attempted in a test to keep my time minimum would be in this test would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Which are these six out of these, or if possible, all of these seven. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Which are these? Uh, I'm not counting this because again there is a possibility of confusion happening. This definitely because we just supposed to calculate percentages of groups and then equate to a number. Again, this also there could have been a confusion about the fixed cost, total cost for the factory. Uh, since I have done this question earlier or similar question, I went for it. You might want to take a call on this, but for me, this was a question. Uh, Again, I would have done this because just putting the formula gave me the answer. This also, just two multiplying factors, dividing them gives a new multiplying factor, which is the answer. Here, there was a chance of a mistake happening because 25% more margin is something that at least if I read it in the first time, I might miss out the more word. So not doing that. 7, I would probably have done because just the difference in the base was to be calculated. This definitely would have done because 71.42 it was a number I'm comfortable with. Similarly, I would have gone with this question. 10th is something that I would have left. So maybe question 1, question 6 and question 10 were the ones that I would have left outrightly, or the the ones that I would leave early, and the rest of them I would have tried, and therefore gotten a 6 to 7 net correct in this test to get a 95 plus percentile.